My name is Kathryn Hofman. I have been teaching, I just finished up year 15. I started in deaf education and made my way to the magical world of STEM, and I've been there since.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, Kathryn. We've crossed paths at many conferences, and lo and behold, here we are at the Elementary Technology Conference in Galveston, Texas. Yes, and you're presenting, you got a couple sessions going on, right?
I do, yes. I have one on building collaborative teacher teams. I have one on student AI usage and students using AI in the classroom. And then I have a session on Make Code Arcade, turning gamers into game designers.
Okay, so that gets my attention right there, the gaming and coding and things like that. So how long have you been in the coding/gaming world with students?
So I have now, this is my eighth year of STEM, I believe. There's about 7 or 8. I have been doing it for quite a while, and there's always something new. Like you're always, every year, finding something new. But coding is always my number one. I always come back to video games and coding.
Foundation?
Yes.
Okay, so I have to ask, are you a gamer?
When I have time, that insane amount of free time that teachers have.
Oh, yeah, so much.
So not as much as I would like to. But yeah, in the past, definitely more of a gamer.
What platform? Are you PC?
Always like Xbox, GameCube.
GameCube?
Old school like Nintendo.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes.
Sweet. All right, so, when we talk about games, I've had multiple conversations with different people about gaming, and one of the big fallacies, one of the big, fictional pieces when it comes to gaming is that it's just play. That there's no learning involved. And I saw that look that you made right now. That's perfect because it leads right into it, because that is not the case. And that couldn't be further from the case. We could talk 4 C's, we could talk all that with games, but in your experience with coding and gaming in the classroom, what are some of those takeaways, or what are some of those things that you see firsthand with students that maybe people don't perceive as this is what gaming and coding can do?
I think one of the biggest things is that a lot of times even like teachers will say, well, that's just for a technology lab, or that's just for a STEM classroom. And what I've come to find is that you can pull so many different areas, so many different teaks, and tie that into video game creation. So you take your ELA teaks, you have your storytelling, character development, cause and effect. I mean, you can pull in social studies teaks and with like timelines or significant events. You really can pull so many teaks into game design. The students working together, collaborating, communicating, like failing, and then trying to figure out why it failed and why it didn't work. There's so much learning that happens.
The best successes come from failure.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Is there a particular project that you could think of or that you could discuss with us that you've done where you've seen the light bulb, you've seen the, maybe that student that doesn't necessarily talk or converse or communicate with other students in different classes, but in this particular class with this project, whether it was solo, whether it was a group of people or what have you, can you talk about a project in which you firsthand saw the power of, STEM, coding, and gaming?
I would say I have a student that is more on the artistic side, was always kind of shying away from more of the coding and technology and things like that. Very artsy, very beautiful creations when he's drawing. And what I loved with Make Code was that gave him the artistic piece he was missing, where you're actually able to design your own like 8-bit characters and backgrounds. And it just absolutely floored him that he could take his own personal designs and then turn that into something, like it made him want to code it. He's
Okay.
like, now that I have this beautiful design and I created this, it made him want to ask questions and say, why is my code not working? Or I've noticed this in my code, and it just opened up a whole world of coding for him that I don't think that he would have found any other way.
Got it.
Through that character design, the set design, and his own personal creations.
What was the project?
We were doing a video game for teaching other students about the UN's goals, 17 goals for sustainability.
Okay. You say UN, you mean United Nations?
Yes, the United
Okay.
Nations, the 17 goals for sustainability, and
That's a lot of goals.
There's a lot.
I can't remember.
We narrowed it down to some of the ones that affect, or that the students had noticed, possibly in their daily lives or in our country, hunger, lack of access to education, recycling, climate change. And they were able to take that and create a game that would then teach younger students about those issues. So they would do like a game, they'd make the video game and then do a game report that had their facts and information in it. Like
So
how
there
to
was
play.
that research component in there as well.
Correct.
Okay. What grade level?
That was when they were in third
grade?
grade. That was when they were back in third grade.
Wow.
Yes.
I can remember being in third grade, and the last thing that was on my mind was the
Making
17
videos.
principles of UN.
Say, we shoot big, man. We go big.
Oh
go
my
big or go
gosh.
home.
Wow. Third
Yes.
grade. Mm-hmm. Okay. How long? What's the span of this project?
So I see my students once a week for 45 minutes. This was actually a collaboration with their homeroom teacher as well.
Okay.
So that we could kind of cover the research part in her class, and then they could come ready to actually do the coding. And she would book me a couple times in my off periods where she would bring the kids in to code and make their games and their reports.
What platform did you guys use?
Make Code Arcade.
Which is a
through
part of Microsoft, you
Yep.
said. Okay. I've never.
Free.
I'm not really into the coding world, but that sounds interesting, especially with the development of artificial intelligence and how prevalent it is in education and that. But it's crazy that this is their lives. This is their not a part of ours. I mean,
No.
they are natives to this.
Yes. I always imagine if I had a class like the class I teach now, would I still have been a teacher?
You would not be here at the
I was like,
elementary
I'm like,
technology.
I would want to be working at Boston Dynamics.
Yeah,
That's
right?
like my dream goal. Like when I
Making
grow
that-
up, I
Yeah,
want to work at Boston
when I grow up
Dynamics.
again.
When I grow up the second time. But I'm like, I see the future that these kids, the things that they're learning now and how that can really build a career. I'm always tying it into a career. I'm like, this is a real life job.
Yeah.
Like, this is a real life job. Did you know this was a real life job? Getting them ready to understand like the skills they learn now, they can take with them in the future.
Yeah, yeah. And when people think of gamers, they think of like when I hear the term gaming
Gamer.
gamers, I think Twitch. I think you're the I don't want to say kids because they're not kids. I want to say the individuals who sit at a keyboard or maybe on their PS5 or Xbox X or whatever, and they might have a capture card or whatever, and they're streaming. And there's a lot that goes into that.
Yes.
I like to game on the side as well, like you said, when I have time.
In my free time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of components that people don't realize. Like when you start getting into the esports world, there are professions, there are skills and skill sets, opportunities that don't even equate to someone being a gamer. The production, the pre-production,
The planning, the
planning,
scheduling,
yeah.
the personal relation skills of, calling ahead and asking for permission, like
Yeah.
interpersonal skills, and it's a lot.
Yeah, and these students, this generation of students, gaming and gamers are part of their generation. So it's part of their world. And now, like you said, things are not so far removed. For example, they know that's a real job because they see it on YouTube. They see it on Twitch. They see it on these other streaming platforms. So it's no longer theory because they see it in action all the time.
Now it's
What
like
do you
it's
hear
like
from-
lifting the veil and saying, so you don't just go to YouTube and say, I'm going to be a YouTuber today.
Yeah.
Like that there's like so many other things that go into it, and saying like you can't just pop on YouTube and make $1 million. There's so much that goes into that.
What are some of those conversations that you guys have had about that? Or what
Oh
are
my
some?
goodness.
Yeah, talk about that.
Shoot. Well, I would say we always do at the beginning, like, what are your interests? Like, just trying to get to know. I'm lucky I get to see my kids for up to 7 years in a row. Because I have the same,
Never thought
I
about
teach
that.
pre-K through
Yeah.
5th. I see some of these kids from the time they're 4 to the time they're going to 6th grade. So I get to see them grow. And it's fun to see when, like, one year they wanted to be a YouTuber, and the next they come in and say, you know what, I think I'll be a programmer. Or the next they come in and they'll say something, I'm like, it's cool to see them grow. But when they come in and say, well, I want to be a YouTuber, and I'm like, okay, well, what's your plan? And they're like, I'm going to get on YouTube. I was like, well, what are you going to do? I'm going to talk. About what? And you start to see those wheels start moving. They're like, oh man, like I said I want to be a YouTuber, but I have no idea what actually goes into that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun. Or I want to be a game designer. Okay, well, what type of coding languages do you know? What is that? And you can kind of see like those like missing pieces start kind of going in, going, there's way more to this than I thought. Not to scare them away.
No, but
to them, like this is a lot
reality.
that goes into this. It's
Yeah.
not just I woke up one morning and became a YouTuber.
So, did you study coding in college and in school?
No.
All right. Okay. How did you land in this world?
I went to school to become a deaf ed teacher,
Okay.
and I spent.
I'm assuming you know ASL.
Yeah, fluently, not
Okay.
not at this point.
With an
just
accent?
the amount of years. I say
Yeah.
with the amount of years I've been removed from deaf ed.
Got it. If you
But
don't use it, you lose
went
it. Yeah.
to be a deaf ed high school English teacher.
Okay.
I was dead set.
Done.
dead
It's
set.
a wrap. Put a bow on it. That's what I'm doing.
And I spent a year living at the deaf school, and they threw me into the infant and baby room, like the infant and toddler room. My first semester was infants and toddlers, and I'm like, this can't be more removed from what I want to do with my life. And after about a week of that time, I was like, I want to do the little kids.
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, okay, nope, high school's out of the story. Like, I want to do like elementary, early childhood. And so I did that for years, like 5 or 6 years. And then next thing I knew, I was getting ready to have my daughter. And I needed something different. And I just didn't know what it was.
You had the itch.
I wanted to be in
call it.
IT.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I started interviewing for all the IT jobs in the district. And I get to a school, and the principal goes, well, and she looks at me and can see that I'm obviously like 8 months pregnant at this point.
Yeah.
She goes, well, an IT should really be here at the beginning of the year.
Ooh.
And I was like,
Okay. All right.
I was like, okay.
Reading
She's
between
like,
the lines.
She's like, but we have another position available that I think you'd fit perfectly into. They had never had a STEM lab. Never, like I walked into that and got to make it anything I could have ever dreamed of. It was the most terrifying and exciting career change I think I've ever had. Where I went from 5 kids a year in deaf ed, very small, tight-knit community. My first year in STEM, I had 1,200 kids, 600 different kids a week. Like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, in and out all day long. But the possibilities, like I was just like sucking up any little bits of information, things I could find. How can I do this in my room? It was really exciting. Very fun. But no college, no experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
But somewhere deep down, a passion for it that I didn't know I had.
Okay. And now you're elbow deep in it, and you
Oh, yes.
can't see yourself doing anything else, right?
I can't, no. My husband teaches middle school social studies, and we're constantly comparing our lives, and I'm like, nope, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I will stay elementary STEM. I like my job. I love my job. Love my kids.
That is so cool. That is so cool. The way you talked about when students said they want to be a YouTuber, you wanted to be that high school
English, deaf ed
teacher.
That was me, yes. I had it all planned out. And life was like, no, that's not where you belong.
Watch this. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Now you're going to be with 4-year-olds.
Oh my gosh.
4-year-olds.
Okay, so for anyone listening or possibly watching a video clip, what advice would you give somebody who's ready to go down that route as far as I finally landed that STEM job that I've wanted, or I now have been put into this surprise. Hey, it's August. Guess what? We made a new position.
Say that.
Okay.
I actually have a teacher in our district that I got an email from, and she says, I have heard your name. I found out today I am now a STEM teacher from PE or from something else. And she goes, I'm a STEM teacher.
Okay.
And she goes, I've heard your name. And I said, I got you. I said, I'm sending you a Google Drive. We're going to have a coffee date. We're going to, and everything will be okay. She's like,
Okay.
It's overwhelming. And it is overwhelming because you start to look at just the amount of resources and things that are constantly coming up. I'm overwhelmed, and it's, I'm how
and
many
there's
years
standards
in.
that you have
and
to.
there's
yes.
tech, and thank God they've been updated.
It's been a
Because
minute.
they were from like 2011.
It's been a minute, yeah.
It was very old and outdated, but they've been updated. But there's actual TEKs that all teachers should be teaching. It's not just secluded into a lab or a technology class. All teachers should be incorporating those TEKs.
Okay.
But my biggest piece of advice would be have fun. Have fun with it.
That is not the response I thought.
Have fun with it. Like if you get overwhelmed, you got to take a step back and just go, it's probably, like I said, it's my dream job. We have so much fun. And I can't imagine it not being fun.
Okay.
You want it to be fun and exciting. Like take STEM apart. Like I love the engineering side of it. That's my, the engineering and technology, like the E and the T, that's my jam. But take those components and find something that you really can just run
latch
with.
onto.
And let the kids, oh my gosh, the kids know more than I do half the time. So
Oh, yeah.
let the kids
We're at that point where we're no longer the
experts.
the keepers of the information to the gateways and all that.
Yes.
We're facilitators.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, we absolutely are facilitators, and it boils down to just making sure we ask the right questions. Like you said, I want to be a YouTuber.
That's cool.
That's cool. What are you going to talk about? Or how are you going to do that?
When are you going to be scheduling these?
Yeah.
How do you know how to edit a video?
Exactly.
Do you know how to edit?
Yeah.
Have you ever written a script? Like, all
Have you ever gone live and had the internet go out?
Oh, no. Now I've just panicked.
Wow. All right. It's interesting. So how can people connect with you to get in touch, get some more information, maybe connect with you and possibly get that Google Drive as well?
Oh, 100%. I share all the things. I will share anything. I am on X at Timbers STEM. I don't mind people emailing me at my school account. I would spell it because it's weird. My last name usually has 2 N's, but not in my email. K Hofman, it's Hofman at humbleisd.net. And I'm more than welcome to chat with people.
Yeah, and I'll put that information in the show notes. That way you guys can connect with Kathryn, get some more information. Maybe you woke up to that hey email.
Yes,
and
by the way.
By the way, yeah. I hope this email finds you well. And you're starting a new position that we've never had before. So yeah, you could reach out and get connected and
Start small. Start small.
Okay.
Oh, you're like, versus fun. Start small.
Okay.
Don't go overboard. Build it as you go.
I like that. I like that. You got to go slow to go fast.
Go slow to go fast, yes.
Okay. Sounds good. I do have one last question for you that I ask quite possibly of about 99% of my guests. I'd like to say 100, but I'm going to be honest, I forget sometimes. Quite possibly the most important question you'll be asked the entire conference. Not even forget the conference, the entire summer.
Ever.
Yeah. You ready?
Sure. Hit me.
Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
I am 100% corn tortilla.
Okay. I like
corn
it.
tortilla.
I
all
am
the way.
team corn all the way as well. I respect a good flour tortilla, but
It's
there's nothing
it's gotta
like
be
corn.
an outstandingly good flour tortilla.
Yeah.
I think corn tortillas, it's
the way to go.
That's my jam.
That's why you're on the show.
Yeah. Well,
That's why you're on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being a part of it. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for what you contribute to our educational space, what you do for our students, our educators with STEM, gaming, coding, everything. From the outsider looking in, I'll tell you that there's a lot of conversations out there about they're just playing games, they're having fun. pull her for a sub. They're not doing anything important today.
Right.
You get that? I'm pretty sure you get that a lot, right?
It happens.
Yeah.
Or pull her sub and put him somewhere else because that
Yes.
class we can just split them and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
So I totally get it. Totally get it. And I want to thank you for everything you do.